Hello, welcome to the France 24 interview. Our guest today is Rafik Husseini, who's the Deputy Secretary General of the Union for the Mediterranean in charge of water and environment. Mr. Husseini, welcome to the France 24 interview.
Thank you for having me.
So the Union for the Mediterranean is nearly 3 years old, but there are lots of questions about its use, about its substance. First of all, because two of its pillars, the Tunisian President Zine Abidine Ben Ali and the Egyptian President Hosni Mubarak are gone, swept away by the Arab Spring, as it's called. And also the Secretary General of the Union for the Mediterranean resigned in January, and he's only going to be replaced in July by a Moroccan diplomat, Youssef Amrani. So is the Union for the Mediterranean for real?
I think the Union for the Mediterranean is very real. First of all, it's for the people of the Mediterranean, not for the presidents of the countries. And therefore, it doesn't really matter who is the president of a country. This project is about people's expectations. People want prosperity, security, and peace in this region, which has always been trodden with wars and problems. So therefore, this is one. The second issue I want to say is, although the political process of the Union is 3 years old, the technical process, which I'm part of, is only months old. We have only started working properly in the end of August, in the end of September, early October. So, and our work plans have been agreed at the end of December. Our project guidelines have been agreed in April, and therefore the Secretariat, the technical part of the Union, is very young and very recent. And therefore, we should not be judged on what has not happened or not happened in the last 3 years. We should be judged on what we do this year and next year.
Right, but there has been one stumbling block that's been there from the very beginning, is the Israeli-Palestinian issue that has blocked a lot of initiatives in many domains, including water, for example. So this has been one of the original sins, if I may say, of the Union for the Mediterranean, and it's still there. It hasn't changed.
Well, there are 43 countries in the Union for the Mediterranean. Israel and Palestine are only 2 of 43 countries. And therefore, there is a lot of work to be done with other countries. And we have this concept that is very important that we call variable geometry. That means not every country in the Union has to be part and parcel of every project. Some projects can be done with 3 or 4 countries, 5 countries, and therefore this debate should not really derail the process of progress within the whole Mediterranean basin. But having said so, it is very important to realize that this is the first international forum that the Palestinian Authority is represented as a full member, and therefore it is equivalent to Israel. So this is the advantage of this forum. The talk, when it happens, talks on equal basis, which we have always wanted to see. But there are problems, and we have to work very hard to resolve them. However, we have to also try to disengage the politics from the project.
But is it possible? Is it possible in a region where everything is so politicized? On the Israeli-Palestinian issue, I mean, you're specialized on the issue of water. It is a political issue, although you could say it should be a technical issue.
Yes, but we have always to look for the common enemy. Not just at each other as enemies, but look at a common enemy. The common enemy is pollution. The common enemy is water scarcity. The common enemy is desertification. The common enemy is climate change. And therefore, if we look at these common enemies, then the Palestinian-Israeli issue becomes a small issue, and people will realize that we have to fight these common enemies together.
Don't you think it's wishful thinking?
Well, everybody, the human being has always been dreaming of things. And I think, maybe a thousand years ago, we've dreamt of flying in the air. And look at what happens now. So we have to be dreamers. We have to be wishful thinkers. We can't really just always take ourselves back into history and cry about the past. We have to look forward for the future.
On the ground, on the Palestinian side, because before you were chief of staff of Mahmoud Abbas, so you know the situation well, there is this reconciliation agreement between Fatah and Hamas. Do you think this could really change the equation, that the Palestinians could have more voice in such forums as the Union for the Mediterranean?
Of course it would, because everybody has been asking the Palestinians to unite. This is an almost global request by the countries, especially of the Union for the Mediterranean countries. And therefore, when this happens, almost all countries supported this. I know that Israel today is not very happy with this, but I think Israel will come to see that this is beneficial for it and beneficial for the Palestinians, beneficial for the whole region. That this happens. Otherwise, we will never be able to talk about peace, since the Palestinian disunity will actually engulf us all and take us on the wrong track.
So you say it's important to dream, but for people, let's say in Gaza, it's important to eat, it's important to have jobs. I mean, what concretely can an institution like yours deliver to the people there or elsewhere?
You're absolutely right. I think what has happened in the last water expert meeting, where it was attended by almost 22 countries surrounding the Mediterranean, including Israel, Jordan, Egypt, other Arab countries, that some European delegations, expert delegations, suggested that we should take the issue of desalination in Gaza seriously, and that we should recommend to the political level, from the technical level, that this project of a creation or establishment of a desalination plant in Gaza is paramount for the regional security, for the regional peace and stability. And this is what has happened. So probably, or perhaps, and this is what we are hoping for, that next month the senior officials, which are the political arm of the union, will take a decision to labelize the first project in the Union for the Mediterranean to be the Gaza desalination plant.
What are the indications from the Israelis on this project so far?
On the technical level, the Israelis have accepted this because it had to be a unanimous decision by consensus. And also we heard today from the Israeli minister that they are also in support of this project. So obviously the technical and political echelons in Israel accept this, and this is a need, and everybody wants to see this happen as a sign, a good sign by the Union for the Mediterranean for peace and stability, by supplying Gaza with something that it needs very much, and that is water.
Coming back to the region and the Arab Spring, what are the early indications from the new governments in Tunisia and Egypt? They are seeking a lot of foreign support, donor support. Are they in favor of kind of reviving or starting actually a real union for the Mediterranean?
I think they are. I think, as you said, as you rightly said, there is a need for an economic revival and for prosperity in the region. And all of these revolutions, if you want, in the Arab countries had one basic common thing that was within them, and that is the need for work, jobs, and economic prosperity. And therefore, they understand also, these new regimes in those new countries also understand that prosperity can come with jobs, and jobs have to be created in partnership with the North. So the South and the North will prosper together.
And on the issue of immigration, that's a very sensitive one in France and in Italy. Is there something that you think should be discussed in order to allay maybe fears on both sides of the Mediterranean?
Well, if you create jobs in one country, there's no need for anybody to immigrate anywhere, because our migrants are economic migrants, not political. They are economic, and therefore creation of jobs will definitely encourage to stabilize countries and to stabilize the population within it, and therefore this will also resolve in one way or the other the issue of immigration.
There are places around the Mediterranean where things are not going well. I'm talking about Syria and Libya. I mean, what is your assessment of the situation? in those
Well,
countries?
I hope that these problems are resolved, and it is for the people, because we are all talking about democracy, and we all want to see democracy and to see the will of people happen. And therefore, we first of all wish that there are no fatalities, there are no problems in those countries. But we all hope that these countries the people in these countries will resolve their problems on their own.
I want to ask you more specifically about Libya. In this case, you have countries across the Mediterranean not uniting, as is the goal of your organization, but fighting war. We have French planes bombing Libya, British planes, Italian planes. I mean, how do you make the Union for the Mediterranean if there's a war across this Mediterranean Sea?
Well, first of all, Libya is not a member of the Union for the Mediterranean. They have not come in. So therefore, there is no issue within the frame that we're working in with Libya. They are not in it, and therefore we wish that they were in it, but they have decided not to be. And therefore, it doesn't really present a technical problem for us in the Secretariat to deal with this issue.
But a political one.
The political one is for everybody. It is a global issue. It is not the Union for the Mediterranean who is attacking or causing problems in Libya. There is the Libyan regime, and there is NATO, and there are big forces dealing with this issue. So it is not an issue for the Union for the Mediterranean as such, but of course we would like this to end, and we would like Libyan people to become part of the equation and to prosper with everybody else.
Okay, Mr. Husseini, thank you very much for coming on the France 24 interview, and thank you all for watching it.